Life exists in polarity, just like the Tao symbol. Every polarity bleeds into its own polarity. So the further you go into any one side of a polarity, the closer you come into its other. So for example, the more you go into movement, the closer you come into stillness. The further you go into life, the closer you come into death. They meet each other at the extreme end, at the outer edges. That's why they attract each other. At the end of life, there is death, and at the end of death, there is life. They give way to each other. Like they say, it's darkest before dawn. These polarities are intertwined and interconnected. Where you find life, you will also find death. Where you find creation, you will also find destruction. They're interwoven and inseparable. So as you delve into living, you die to all that is not alive. In the path of creation, you create an equal amount of destruction. So with that in mind, you could say that you come closer to something by going into its opposite. That's the nature of life. To live, you must die. To win, you must lose. To receive, you must give. And just as life is full of these polarities, it's also full of contradictions. Sometimes, if you want to do less, you must first do more. And if you want to do more, you must first do less. Often, if you want to go fast, you must first slow down. And if you want to go far, you must look the closest, within. But if you pay really close into these polarities and contradictions, you'll come to see that opposites are actually the same. They're part of the same motion. You can never talk about one without the other. You can't talk about a high without a low, stillness without movement, creation without destruction, light without dark. And as long as you're alive, you cannot escape these laws or choose only to delve into one aspect. If you take a high and flip it, it becomes a low. And if you take a low and flip it, it becomes a high. So you could say that a high is just a low reversed, and a low is a high reversed. If the high is a blessing, the low too should also be a blessing. If the grass is green on one side, it must then be green on all sides. These fluctuations and extremes are overwhelming, but if one approaches them with a translucent mind, they'll come to see that they are inherently neutral. The more judgment and resistance we hold on to, the more these extremes or highs and lows become burdensome. So forget about polarities. All that comes to you already has unimaginable potential within it. So just delve into whatever the moment offers and act it out fully. So if the moment necessitates being masculine, then be masculine. If the moment asks you to soften, then be that. If the moment requires you to take action, then take action. Life is not an act of balance. It's an act of necessity and intensity. Be attentive, be yourself in every moment, and that might be all that you need.